You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Mandatory. If you're watching on YouTube, you need to see what Charlie Touche is rocking. I'm not even going to do no intro. Charlie, tell everyone what time it is and what you're wearing.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
You're just gonna make it seem like I'm wearing glasses and I can't see something. Like we're just gonna pretend that, like, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from, keep watching. Head on over to YouTube, see what Charlie is wearing. Charlie, what time is it?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. Got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise. Kadeem, I mean, 'tis the season, bro. Like, it's Go Time Dolphins. It's GTD. But there's something inside of me that wants to be GTP, Go Time Panthers. You know what I'm saying? I'm hockey ready, Panther ready, bro. Like I've tweeted a couple times that it's so nerve-wracking to watch hockey, like not just hockey, but the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? So it's 1-1 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Both games went down to the wire, back and forth, 5 goals in the first period is wild, bro. So I got my attire on. I'm ready, bro. We trying to go back to back, defending champs. You feel me? Like, I'm out here, bro.
Genuine question from someone who's known you for nearly a decade.
I'll go for that, yeah. We put in work, bro.
Nearly a decade, but for the most part, we've only really spoken about American football and a bit of basketball. How long have you been watching the Panthers? Like, I'm in no way trying to take away from your Panthers fandom, but are you hey, we've been following the Panthers for God knows how long, or they've got good recently, so I kind of jumped on the wave? You on mute? You on mute? No, you're not.
I hit the mute button. But I'm so glad you asked me this question. I'm so glad you asked me this question. When I was younger, I was probably like a teenager, and one of my, those people that's so close to the family that you just can't call them friends, but they're not really family, but they just been around forever. It's one of my older brother's friends, you know what I'm saying? But they lived with us for a long time, so he's just a part of the family. And this dude said, he was like, "Oh, I'm not a NBA fan. I don't like the NBA. I just like the Heat." That's what he said. He like, "I don't like the NBA. I just like the Heat." I'm like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? And as I got older, I started realizing what that meant. It wasn't until I'll say about 10 years ago, I realized how good hockey was, and how when the playoffs get here, you know how I watch the World Cup, Kadeem? Like, hey, I'm dedicated World Cup. Got to watch as many games as possible. Waking up 2:00 in the morning, watch these World Cup games sometimes, right? It's not that deep, but it's almost the same when it comes to playoff hockey. Not just for the Florida Panthers either. It's just playoff hockey is so intense. I feel like with basketball, and we're gonna get to Go Time Dolphins, but with soccer, and it's the World Cup. Yeah, appreciate you, Tim. When it's the World Cup, bro, it's like when it's a friendly. How about let's go with a friendly? I'm like, bro, these boys ain't even playing for real. And they just walking around the pitch, passing the ball. It's like an exhibition. I don't want to see that. The World Cup, you can tell everything's on the line. Fans fly from across the planet every 4 years, like, hey, this is it. And you can see it in the fans, you can see it in the players, like, yo, this is what I want, a competitive environment. And that's why the World Cup is so intriguing and so good. In hockey, you get that once a year with the playoffs. They don't get credit for being like the world's best athletes. But yo, you got to skate forward, you got to skate backwards, man, bro. So to answer your question, Kadeem, I would say I'm not a hockey fan, and I would not even pretend to be a hockey fan, but I've always been a Panther fan. The Florida Panthers are the reason I learned how to skate when I was like 12, 13 years old. It was an epidemic that took over South Florida. Obviously, we know about when Scott Mellenby killed the rat. Like that was my day, bro. That was when it was real newspapers out. We had newspaper clippings. We was clipping out stuff for the scrapbook. So I'm a legit fan, Panther fan, but I'm not the biggest. Like I would never lie and say, oh, I'm a huge Panther fan, nothing like that. But I will tell you this: when you're watching the games, bro, it's funny how I might not be the biggest hockey fan, but as a Panther fan, you still get your strings still get pulled and your emotions are still involved. It gets heartbreaking when you lose that overtime game. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, that hurt. You feel me? So bro, I would absolutely say I'm a real Panthers fan. Not the biggest hockey fan, but I'm definitely a real Panthers fan.
That's cool. Question from Tim: was that when the Panthers were formed, or did they move from somewhere else?
No, it was from inception. We started in Miami. It was like the Miami Arena. I think that was it was the Miami Arena where the Heat used to play. I think the first season was 92. Let's get some stat check. First season, I think, was 92. And I think the second season we went to the Stanley Cup. I think, or it could be the third season we went to the Stanley Cup. It was something like
that. 1 year off. Founded in 1993.
Oh, so we founded in 93. We went to the Stanley Cup in 94.
Played 93, 94, 96 Stanley 96. Cup. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So yeah, to answer your question, Tim, yeah, it was. We didn't even have ice down here. Like we had once the team came, then they built an ice rink. I'm like, bro, what? I'm never going to that. And never went. Still never ice skated. Yeah, but that's where we at now.
That was a little Florida Panthers diversion, segment, segue, whatever you want to call it. Mandatory minicamp is here. Do you want to start with Jalen Ramsey or the cornerback that could be replacing him?
Let's start with Jalen Ramsey.
So Jalen Ramsey, we are live on YouTube. Everyone, if you're watching on Twitter as well, listening to Twitter, thank you so much. It is Monday the 9th of June, and Jalen Ramsey is still a Miami Dolphin unless he got traded in the minutes that we have been online. And note, that is not the case. So news yesterday, Sunday, from Rapsheet in Rappaport, he says, as the Dolphins and star cornerback Jalen Ramsey continue to work towards a trade, Ramsey is not planning to attend mandatory minicamp this week, sources say. He'll stay away as the situation works to a conclusion. So first things first, Charlie, are you surprised Ramsey is not turning up to mandatory minicamp?
I'm not surprised. However, if we can find him for not being there, I will absolutely find him. Like, yeah, I'm okay with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about accountability and players got to be held accountable. And, the Coach McDaniel hasn't had a reputation for following through with some of his punishments or putting his foot down or the toughest coach and stuff like that. Look, bro, if you want to go to another team, just know there's a process that has to be played out. I think there's some people out there that hope, oh, maybe we can land another corner. Maybe Ramsey will want to stay and play for us. You know, listen, bro, I'm done with Ramsey. I want volunteers, not hostages, bro. I need people who want to be here, who are dialed in, that are locked in.
Yeah, definitely. Tim Caro says, better for the team. He's nowhere near minicamp. I 100% agree. He's made it crystal clear he doesn't want to be here in Miami. So cool. You know, I guess you and your agent best work even harder to try and find a team, because as of right now, he's still a Miami Dolphin. I have to imagine that gets sorted sooner rather than later. But the longer this drags on, the more annoying it gets. And like you said, it's now mandatory minicamp. So if you're not here, there needs to be some kind of punishment. Even if you want to go, because at the very least, you can turn up. You can turn up, stand on the sideline, or do whatever, you know. But
Yeah,
you're treated.
I don't know, Kadeem. Like, do I even want that on the sideline? You
No,
can. You
yeah.
are more than welcome to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But do I even want that? I don't know, bro. Like, I don't want this around the organization. But at the same time, cool. You could come and not get fined. You could stay away and get fined. I don't care. But as outside of the business world, I understand why you're not coming, but understand why you're getting fined.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, when I say he can turn up, it's more, Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. It's I'm going to walk into the building. I'm going to tap my key card. I'm going to say hi to everyone, and then I'm going to walk back out. Cool. Do whatever you got to do.
I just don't think Jalen Ramsey got it in him to do that. I think
Oh,
Jalen Ramsey, if Jalen Ramsey shows up, I think he's going to be a problem. Like, he's going to cause problems being there.
Again, I'm in no way advocating for him to do that. I'm just saying, if you don't want to get fined, that's the option you can take. Alternatively, yeah, I can imagine this is a mutually agreed upon. It's best you don't turn up. Ramsey going, I wouldn't turn up anyway. Cool, fair enough. So, yeah, it's. I can't even say it's a shame that it's come to this, because, again, in no way trying to speak down on Jalen Ramsey, who, for the most part, up until a few weeks ago, was all in on Miami. This is just how his tenures with his previous teams end. Once he decided he's gone, it's back injuries, it's whatever injury that you can't diagnose through scans and stuff like that. And then the moment he leaves, it's like, oh look, I'm completely fine again. So yeah, Ramsey. Let's find a trade partner. Use the capital or the players to boost the team even further and get ready for the 2025 NFL season.
I'm gonna lie, Kadeem, I'm kind of upset that I missed that Panthers question about 93, because I kind of knew it was 93 and I kind of knew around 95 we was booming. So I'm kind of upset that the same. You see, this is why I could say I'm a real fan, because I still get upset with stuff like that, like I would with Dolphin questions. And I still get upset when I see foolishness on the ice, like I do with Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, bro, like, again, not the biggest fan, but definitely a fan, bro. Yeah, bro. You seen the footage? There's a short when I went to the Eastern Conference Championship.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, nah, man. That is, yeah, there's levels for sure.
Yeah. I would say, before we go back to Dolphins, I say I'm a fan of Miami teams, but I don't go out of my way to really watch them. Like, if the Heat are in the playoffs, cool, fair enough. I probably should do the same for the Panthers, but when you got a brand new baby, it's sleep is, yeah. I'm tired 24/7, and it's insane.
I ain't gonna lie. If there was ever a time where someone said, I'm kind of interested in hockey, but not really, regardless of the teams, this Stanley Cup final might be the best ever in the history of Stanley Cup finals, bro. Like, I just knew this thing was going to go back and forth, two heavyweights just beating each other down. And so far, we 2 games deep, and this is what's going on, bro. So you don't got to be a hockey fan. You don't got to be a lifelong hockey fan to be a diehard fan. You feel me? But
100%.
Yeah.
Nah, if anything, having a baby means I'm up at stupid o'clock anyway, so I might try and catch it. Speaking about trying to catch it, Jaire Alexander is released by the Green Bay Packers on Monday. Kind of saw it coming. People assumed the Packers would find a trade destination for Alexander, and it seems he could have been headed to Buffalo, but nothing really got worked out. Again, I'll ask you, Jaire Alexander to Miami, even with his injury history, yes or no?
2-time Pro Bowler, 2018 first-round pick, Been in the league 7. I think it's going to be his 8th season this year. I think he only played 7 games last year. And if we could get his games played up in the past 5 years, Kadeem, that'll be cool. And I think he only played 7 games before that. But picked off Tua in the Green Bay game and took it to the house. I didn't appreciate that one. This is a quintessential Miami Dolphin acquisition right here. This is what the Miami Dolphins do. They take really good players that are injury prone and hope for the best. And although that is not what I desire, I will absolutely be all in on Jaire Alexander because of the way this roster is set up. So yes, I will be in on Jaire Alexander. No, I am not open to being fleeced because he doesn't play often. Well, like when it comes to salary cap, I'm not open to giving him any type of. So here we got the games played right here. Kadeem, walk us through it.
So yeah, entered the league in 2018, 13 games, 11 starts. Not bad, rookie season, cool. 2019, 16 games played, 16 starts. Hey, love seeing that. 2020, 15 games played, 15 starts. We lost the game. Yep. Perfect. 2021, 4 games played, 4 games started. Hey, injuries, it happens. But the following year, 2022, 16. Cool. Again, Pro Bowl. Perfect. 2023 and 2024, 7 games in each year. So it's 14 games over the last 2 years. And yeah, not ideal when you're 27, about to turn 28, and your last full season was 2022, even if you did reach a Pro Bowl in that year.
If this guy plays, he's the best corner on the team. No, not just the team. He's probably the best corner in the game. Like if he plays when the Dolphins play the Chargers, he's going to be the best corner in the game, like in that game. So if he's playing, he's the best on the field. If he's not playing, he's just an O2 thief taking up oxygen from everybody else. Like that's it. So like you have to take your chances. Now, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. How much do you pay for that? Hold on, let's bring that back up one more time. So he has the last 4 seasons, 4 games played. That's it. 4 games played in 21. 16 games played in 22. 7 games played in 23, 7 games played in 24. Bro, that's worse than Armstead and Parker, Devontae Parker, bro. So we're on par. We lost Parker. We brought in Teron Armstead. Now we're going to bring in Jaire Alexander. This is what the Dolphins do. So I'm kind of, let's do it. You feel me? And if whatever we get out of them, that's what we get out of them. And I know we're probably going to go here next, Kadeem, but I wonder. There's something inside of me, Kadeem, that wonders if the Dolphins, bruh, I'm at the crib now. I got my Chris Greer conductor's hat in front of me right now. It's right here if you're just listening to the audio. I got it with me right there. It's in my hand. Chris Greer, I'm conducting the Chris Greer train. If Chris Greer brings in Jaire Alexander after he's released from the Green Bay Packers and then goes out and signs Asante Samuel Jr., there's going to be a part of me that's like, wait a minute, bro. I think this was calculated. Now, it could just be you could be fortuitous and you could just be lucky. Like, yo, you lucked up again. But I would say that was calculated, and Chris Greer knew what he was doing this entire time in this offseason. When I say, what he was doing, like, all right, we didn't draft corners. We had that corner Campbell that we wanted in the first round, slid to the second round. We didn't even entertain him. So if we end up with Jaire Alexander and Asante Samuel Jr., I ain't gonna lie, Kadeem, I will feel a whole lot better about this year. I won't be excited like I usually am, but that prediction of we should win 12 games this year, and then we'll probably lose 8. So I ended up at the 10 mark. It goes back up to 12 games if you add both of them. If you don't add both of them, I'm still staying at 10.
Charlie, let's take a time out.
Still listening? Then you're one of us. Got a day one Dolphins fan you know who hasn't found Go Time Dolphins yet? Put them on. As you're rocking with the show, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and drop a comment on your favourite podcast app, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music or Google Podcasts. It helps more Fins fans find the pod and keeps the community growing strong.
Hey, Kadeem, you know how you said what am I wearing? I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what I was gonna wear today. Like for the episode, like because I got a whole bunch of stuff all the way around. And when I walked in the podcast room, I knew I wanted to wear my Florida Panthers chain. And I was like, dang, what am I gonna wear this with? And I kind of just pieced this stuff up. So this is what me and my homies call a combo breaker. Combo breaker.
I was gonna ask what game combo breakers are from. I feel like it's from quite a few games, but there's one game in particular. I'm like, yo, combo breaker is like synonymous with that game.
I felt like it was Street Fighter.
I was thinking Killer Instinct.
Hey, if y'all know in the comments, let us know. I thought it was Street Fighter. Hey, also in the comments, while y'all are in the comments, if you could hit that like button, if you could hit that subscribe button, we really appreciate you here on Go Time Dolphins.
Speaking about the comments, because I know there's comments on social media, there'll be comments on YouTube. I've got my keyboard out here. I'm typing right now. As you just noted, Jaire Alexander is injury prone. Why would you bring why would you bring him to the Dolphins? You're like you said, you got rid of Devontae Parker, Twan Armstead. We need players who are available 24/7. The best ability is availability. Why would the Dolphins mess around and even on vet minimum money bring in Jaire Alexander if he's going to miss, over half the games? Charlie, what is the point?
Because he might not miss half the games. And then if you have him on a vet minimum, which I'm telling you now, yeah, it is not going to be the vet minimum. He's going to get some money. So if he does if he does end up playing 15, 14 plus games, whatever he plays, he has outperformed his contract. So that's why you take the chance. And the Dolphins are in a situation where they're going to have to start taking some chances. You know what I'm saying? Like this roster is not the roster that we had the past 2 years. And suddenly it will be not as bad, bro, if you added both of these boys. And even, bro, Asante Samuel Jr. you have a neck injury. Obviously, if he's clear to play, then it's cool. And Jaire Alexander only playing 14 games in 2 seasons, the previous 2 seasons. Man, you don't feel good about it, but you never know what the outcome. Like you feel better about going into the season, I imagine. Like just quick question. Like, do you feel better going in with what we have now without Jalen Ramsey at DB or with Jaire Alexander and Asante Samuel Jr.? Obviously, the answer is, yeah, I feel better with both of them. Let's see what they can give us.
I think that's it, though. Let's see what they can give us, assuming they stay healthy. And I think we've had this conversation before about the Dolphins front seven. Again, if healthy, the Dolphins team on both sides of the ball is if it stays healthy. That's like the one thing we know about the Dolphins team. Obviously, we know about Tua, his injury history, all that kind of stuff. This Dolphins team is going to be, or the Dolphins defense is going to be make or break on this front seven staying healthy. And if it stays healthy, it could is a big word, doing a lot of heavy lifting, but it could make up for the lack of experience, in the back end. So if you're, again, I get it. I'll counter with my own argument. If you have that Dolphins front seven staying healthy, and even just one of Alexander or Asante Samuel Jr. staying healthy, things look so much better. But why would you risk adding more injury proneness to a team which has to stay healthy? Surely you take a punt on a Rasul Douglas or someone who may not be as good as Alexander, but is going to give you 16 games of, a C+/B, as opposed to 4 to 7 games of, Pro Bowl potential.
Who said Rasul Douglas is giving me 16 games? He might get hurt too. He might not be injury prone, but he might get hurt. So you ask the question, and the answer is, yeah, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? But I do know why are you bringing in injury prone players? Because the alternative to bringing in injury prone players is playing with Cam Smith, who is Cam Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So what's the alternative to bringing in injury prone players? So if I would like to think everyone feels better about Jaire Alexander and Asante Samuel Jr. than Cam Smith and Ethan Bonner.
Yeah, I'm like, again, I can't sit there and deny it, but it's also you bring in, Alexander and Asante Samuel Jr., and you could still very much end up with both of those. And again, listen, I've sat on the other side of the argument, which is, Raekwon McMillan, completely healthy in college, first snap in preseason, done.
I got something for you. I got something for you. I was on a job, right, once upon a time, and I'm not a lotto person. Like, people play the lotto. If you a lotto person, cool, more power to you. I hope you knock it off out the park and shoot me a little something. Just help the boy out. I'm not a lotto person, but I know people who are. And I just don't understand the concept of why people go crazy to play the lotto when it's in the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. Oh, lotto, whatever, what's with the Powerball? Powerball's a 300 million. Like, yo. So now when everyone's playing Powerball, when it's 300 million, you didn't feel good about 10 million when no one was playing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how that works, how people get excited about $400 million Powerball or something like that when they could be playing every day for $5 million. You know what I'm saying? And I think your chances are better if you play around then. So I don't understand why people do that. So the reason I'm bringing this up, Kadeem, is because of something you just said. My friend, this is, Powerball was through the roof once upon a time. This is years ago. And this guy bought like 50 tickets, bro. 50. I'm not lying, bro. I'm not lying. He bought like 50 tickets. 50 is exaggerated. It was more than 10. I want to be clear. It was way more than 10. And I'm like, bro, why didn't you do this when it was only $5 million? Like, I don't understand why you didn't do it. So, now we're riding to work and I'm giving him a hard time. And the whole way to work, I'm giving him a hard time. And then finally, he says, you're right. I might not win. Probably not going to win. There's a chance I don't win. But I know who's not winning, and that's you, because you don't have a ticket at all. You know what I'm saying? And he hit me with that, Kadeem. You know what I said? You're right. Let me buy one of them things off of you. Straight up. You can't win if you don't have no ticket. So for the people who say, well, they're injury prone, why would you even want them on your team? Because, yeah, Ethan Bonner and Cam Smith might be the starters, but they will for sure be the starters if you don't add more help. So if the help is injury prone, as opposed to Ethan Bonner and Cam Smith, like, yo, give me, I'll take my chances.
Yeah, it's such a, I think my whole thing with this, and I've said this before with other players, I find it hilarious that the same people, we saw it in the draft with Will Johnson, the same people who will have a go at Chris Greer for signing injury-prone players, stop doing it, has to be fired, and now banging the table for Jaire Alexander. And it's like, seriously. And I said before, and I'll say it again, my opinion is that people aren't angry that Chris Greer signs injury-prone players. Is that he signs injury-prone players that they don't want. That is what I think people have a problem with Chris Greer, or that he signs defensive linemen that they didn't call for. So, instead of going for Will Campbell, they waited in the second round to, trade up for Jonas Savanaia and stuff like that. Instead of taking Mason Graham, they stayed and took Kenneth Grant. Do you know what I mean? It's you're going to be happy you aren't going to be happy with anything Chris Greer does because it's not what you would have done. I say to all those people, go and play Madden and manage the Miami Dolphins in your own time. Unfortunately, you aren't the GM of the Miami Dolphins. There's not much you can do. And again, fan whatever way you want. Voice your anger, your frustration, start your own YouTube channel, do whatever you want. But it is what it is. So, no, I would take a punt on Jaire Alexander if you've got the cap space. You can kind of carry it, the following year. But if you have cap sitting there, who are you going to re-sign? As long as it's not a Jay Cutler and you lose out on Jarvis Landry situation, retain your own, and if you've got cap left over, go and bring in Jaire Alexander. That's where I am right now.
You know what's funny? I used to play Madden back in the day. But I didn't play the game. I just wanted to be the GM, and I'll simulate through the season to see how good of a roster I put together. And I'll do it in dynasty mode for 20 years. Let me see how many Super Bowls I could win in dynasty mode, simulating through the seasons, putting together rosters. That's it. I don't play the game. And when I used to take over a team, I had to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. I got to clean up the cap. That was what we did with me and my brothers. Like, we didn't even play the game. It was 4 brothers, and we see who could build the best teams. And this is what the Dolphins are kind of doing right now. Like, not right now, but what I'm saying is this is a move that I would make. Like, we're suffering in the DB area, but we have a front 7 where our DBs don't have to be the best. So now they don't have to be the best, but if you mess around and your front 7 are getting home and you got Jaire Alexander and Asante Samuel Jr. and Kader Kohou behind you, you feel a lot better about it because, we don't need you to be all pros back there. But at the same time, whatever you give us, that could be that can get us over the hump.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. He might want to go. Now might be the time for him to go to Buffalo, I guess. Shout out to Timothy Washington. He said, "Fins up, let's effing go." He also says, "Go get Justin Simmons as well."
Yeah, straight up. That's another one. Bro. Those seasons when I would play Madden and I had all the cap, and I'm like, maybe the cap wasn't in the right places. Let's go just clean up free agency, all the best free agents, and see what I could do with them. And this is, bro, straight up. Go get Justin Simmons as well.
I guess there's no harm in, 1 year heavily incentivized contracts where if you play more, you get more money. And hey, if it don't work out, we're blowing up next, or we're retooling next year anyway. So,
hey, did Stephon Gilmore get picked up?
I don't think he did, but I will double check.
Because if you don't want to mess around and get Rasul Douglas or Jaire Alexander or Asante Samuel Jr. because we have Kader Kohou, Asante Samuel Jr. and Kader Kohou play the exact same position. So if you brought in Asante Samuel Jr., one of them would be playing out of position, but you feel better about that rather than over Cam Smith. So my thing is, if Stephon Gilmore was still out there, I'll take a 36-year-old Stephon Gilmore over what we have right now, straight up.
Yeah, he is available. Although there's this one article on, TWSN Sports, which basically says he signed with the Chiefs, and that's an absolute lie. So nice try, but it is what it is. And Timothy Washington says, he's still available. Question, I guess, would you bring back Wynn?
Yeah, I'll bring back Wynn too. We need depth because we're only one injury away from Eichenberg seeing the field.
Yeah, I can't even dispute that right now. Timothy, would you? Yeah, I take it you would bring back as well. There's no question mark there as well. Charlie, do you want to get into overtime?
Yeah, I know what time it is. Panther game tonight. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
He's not there. Oh, well, let's head into another timeout very quickly.
Enjoying the episode so far? Whether you're watching in the comfort of your own home or on the go, Go Time Dolphins is where you want to be for your fix on all things Dolphins. So hit that like button, drop a comment below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to help us keep growing and reaching more Fins fans around the world.
Fun times. And he is back. All good?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. It is mandatory minicamp. What are some of the... I feel like we've had this conversation before. It's like, what would you like to see? Is there anything you kind of want to be hearing from the beat writers who are there and relaying the news? Are there any things you're looking out for? Any early position battles, anything like that?
There's a couple receivers actually, and I know it's not the position that we hope for, but there's a couple receivers that I think could make this team, and I just want to see if I hear stuff from them. I don't want to look for it either. I don't want to go searching to see what they're doing. So I kind of want to hear from them, but at the same time, I would love because we do this, Kadeem. The Dolphins find undrafted players, bro. Kader Kohu became he's a piece. He's the best DB on the team right now. Dog was a dude when for the first few seasons. Preston Williams came out of nowhere as the unicorn, couldn't stay healthy. Bro, the Dolphins can find Nick Needham had a position, was the 4th and 5th DB for the Dolphins for 4 years. So the Dolphins can find undrafted free agents. And I really think, I don't know where Cooper Mays is right now. He was on the roster. I feel like there's a chance he can make the roster. And I hope for the life of me that he starts to make a lot of noise. Cooper Mays, he's a center from Tennessee. And last but not least, just someone off the radar. Just hit somewhere with one of these undrafted free agents and be like, oh, Dolphins came through somehow, some way. So it's not the Tyreek Hill, it's not the Waddle, it's not the Tua looks good and can. I don't care about none of that, bro. None of that matters to me. I want to hear from people that we never heard from, that we didn't even know was the hidden gem, diamond in the rough. That's what I want.
Yeah, I kind of echo what you just said. For me, it's until a veteran corner enters the building, which one of these guys is going to, step up and start making headlines, start catching some beat writers I don't really care about, no offense, but who are the guys that coaches after when they're at the podium saying, hey, this guy has been great so far, and you've seen it, the way he's covered Hill, Waddle, Johnny Smith, all that kind of stuff. Same with the, I guess, undrafted offensive lineman that we brought in so far. It's, hey, which one is going to dislodge Liam Eichenberg? Because from what it sounds like, the team kind of like him. He's a leader in that room. I think Austin Jackson, friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, said he's now like the vet in that room. I think he's the longest tenured Miami Dolphin offensive lineman in that room, and that's what, for 5 years. And also one of the more senior players, obviously James Daniels, Aaron Brewer, but AJ, Austin Jackson, is now kind of seen as a leader. But yeah, who's going to make a name for themselves? So if someone does go down, unfortunately, hey, it's next man up. We don't need to go outside the building to go get someone else. We don't need to look at bringing back Isaiah Wynn. And then also the big one, and that's the one which I really don't care about, but it's gonna, it's going to dominate headlines because that's what this position does, is the backup quarterback position. Who's going to stake a claim for number 2, Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers? We've got a whole 2 episodes coming up very, very shortly, so look out for that, and we'll kind of delve into it a bit more. But it was very interesting to see who's able to make a name for themselves. And I guess quarterback across the team, who's going to make a name for themselves? Who's going to be the next Preston Williams, bad example, Kader Kohu. Who can be next Kader Kohu? Can we go from there? So, yeah, it remains to be seen, but this is where, we start having some buzz names, and hopefully it can continue long into the summer and into the season as well.
I think there may be something there with Quinn Ewers. He held off. What's the new Arch Manning? You got Eli Manning, you got Peyton.
Arch, yeah.
I think it's Arch Manning. He held off Arch Manning. Like, everyone knows Arch Manning is coming. And Arch Manning went to Texas, and Quinn Ewers stood in the paint and didn't hand his job away. Either Arch Manning is going to fail the legacy of the Mannings, or Ewers was good enough to hold him off.
Or
go ahead.
They just wants to sit Manning. Like, we don't need you this year. I don't
know. Did they win the championship last year?
They did not know.
All right. So why are you not starting Arch Manning then? You see what I'm saying? We're gonna. You know what? Arch Manning is so good that we want him to sit, and then next year he'll start winning our championships. I'm just saying, bro. Like, if you're not starting your best players, that there's a problem there. So that tells me that Quinn Ewers actually won that job. I don't believe we want to be loyal to Ewers. Like, I don't believe that. So I think Ewers might be. I'll tell you this: he's better than Skylar Thompson. I know that much.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting one. That's going to be the pre-season storyline when Zach Wilson does come in. No matter who they have on the field with them, who's going to make the most of them. We do remember Skylar Thompson and Eric Ezekama. We thought that was going to be a thing. Although, shout out to Eric Ezekama, probably on his last shot in Miami.
Yo, I got something for you, Kadeem. Before we walk up out of here, I got this NASA sweater on right now. I've had this NASA sweater on. I had this NASA sweater for years, actually, and I never wore it. Never had the reason to wear it. Never, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always working, and this is the first time I actually put it on since I bought it. Kadeem, this is actually pretty dope sweater. I ain't gonna lie. There's patches on it. This is pretty dope. Kadeem, you think we landed on the moon?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, yeah.
Why do you think we landed on the moon, Kadeem? Because I'll be transparent. I don't believe we landed on the moon.
Do you not believe because we haven't been there since? Or like there hasn't been a definitive astronaut standing on the moon? I don't want to say your argument, but I've seen the argument where you managed to go there in the 60s, have a man on the moon, camera, get the camera feed back to Earth, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you haven't done it since. What's up?
So no. You the one who believes. Let me tell you why I don't believe. And I'm not one of the seeing is believing people. Like, oh, I haven't seen it. I don't believe. Nah, I'm not one of those. And I think that could get you in some trouble too, just because you ain't see something. Especially, I'm a Christian, bro. Seeing, like, I don't have to see to believe. You feel me? So I will say this. It's been over 50 years, bro, since a man has walked on the moon. I wonder and I question why we have not been back. Yeah, that's a part of the questioning. But at the same time, it's like, hold on. You just want me to buy what y'all are selling, United States of America? I'm just supposed to buy but you won't even buy what they're selling today. But we're supposed to buy what they sold 50 years ago. So it's a little bit of that. And here's my kicker. How come no one else has went? Because the United States went, right? Apparently, the United States went. How come no one else has went? If we've been on the moon, how come China ain't say, you know what? I want to see what's up there too. Why we gotta take America's word for it? How come Russia didn't say, yo, we're going to the moon too? Let's see what's up there. No one else has been. Not just the United States. No one else has been. That's really my argument.
But then my question is, how do you know that?
How do I know what?
That no one else has been.
I mean, to public knowledge, no one else has been. Now, if they have been, cool, all right. But how come you're not saying you went? Like, how come?
Because it's not first. Like, it's sometimes I'll make a really, really, really bad comparison. But sometimes, like, hey, if you're if you're picking up America's sloppy seconds or sloppy thirds, like you ain't trying to announce that. You're just like, hey, like not everyone needs to know that I followed America to the moon. America went there, they got dibs, they can brag about it. We lost the race, we went there, but we don't want to announce that you went there because everyone will be like, but you weren't first.
Kadeem,
So,
if you're not first, you're last. I understand that. But if you're not first, you never go at all. Come on now. That doesn't, I'm just saying, Kadeem. I'm just saying. You know what? And here's the last but not least, because we're gonna get up out of here. Go time moonwalk. Listen, there's video of who was it? Nixon? Richard Nixon, the president at the time. Richard Nixon. Can we search if it was Richard Nixon? There's video of Richard Nixon on the phone with the astronauts while they're on the moon, bro. Now here's my thing. If you watch it, because I kind of like stuff like this. I kind of like Apollo 13 and all the hidden numbers. I really like. For some reason, it's a guilty pleasure. I watch movies like that. I love them. And in a couple of those movies, like there's all types of problems, and there's people who passed away. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get to the moon, they just couldn't make it. A whole bunch of people actually. And in some of the movies, it's like they can't even radio from the shuttle to the building prior to launch. Like, yo, we can't even talk to you from 100 yards away. You're in the command center and we're on the shuttle. How are we going to communicate from the White House to the moon? I'm just not buying it, Kadeem.
IMAX says June 6th, Japan's moon lander crashed into the lunar surface during an attempted landing last week.
No. No, we're not talking about unmanned moon landings. I'm talking about manned moon landings, moonwalks. And I'm not talking Michael Jackson. I'm talking about manned moonwalks.
Charlie and I have a like a diary now in terms of key dates we need to do episodes on. July 20th is when the US lands on the moon, allegedly. I say July 20th, whenever that date is, and let's have a look when it falls. Calendar, July 20th is a Sunday. I say July 20th, we have a whole moon episode. We discussed this. What do you say? Because that's going to be key, nothing to talk about football season. I say we take a break from QB rankings and we talk about the moon. July 20th.
Listen, I'm all for it. And the reason why I put it in like this last little 3 minutes of the episode, because we were actually leaving. I didn't want to lose nobody because this is supposed to be Go Time Dolphins. But we could do it. You feel me? But I will say this, Kadeem. This is my last point on this. How many times, without looking, how many times do you think America has been to the moon? Man walks on the moon.
Man walks on the moon?
Yeah. How many times do you think man has walked on the moon from the United States?
I think it's just the once.
It's not, Kadeem. It's supposed to be like 4 to 7 times. It happened like 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So I'm like, hold on. So now not only were we first, we did it like 4, 5, 6, 7 times and no one has done it. No, bro, I'm not buying it. I'm going to bust you up July 21st, Holmes. Like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Quick question before we leave. Would you sign Pratt from Cincinnati who got released today?
I would, but not before addressing our DBs.
Yeah. My thing was, guys who get released now, I take a look at, but we have clear areas of need until we address that. Unless it's like, oh my days, we have to get Seth McLaughlin. Unless it's Seth McLaughlin, I don't care right now. Like Seth McLaughlin, Andrew Voorhees. Unless it's those two guys, I don't want to hear it. We have other priorities. So, Charlie, let's get up out of here. Great episode. All things mandatory minicamp. All things Jaire Alexander. All things Jalen Ramsey. Join us shortly where we'll be talking all things Tua Tagovailoa, as there has been some interesting comments over on the wonderful world that is social media. Until then, we shall see you soon. Peace. Oopsie.